Okay, this is the highlights from Tuesday in GreatStockPicks.com live trading chat room. This was one of those days where the All-Stars in there had my back. Kind of carried me. I couldn't find much. Now, I will say this. SRPT was one of our bounce plays on watch. And this right here, let me zoom in a little bit. And this happens a lot. I'm not a big brave guy in the first 10, 15 minutes. I like to sit on my hands. This was the opening candle, the opening 5-minute candle right here. Okay, when the very next candle started to come up green, I said, hey, over the high of the day, over the 5-minute high, SRPT could go. Now, it was whippy, spreads were nasty, and it didn't feel very safe to me. But having said that, that was my idea. High of day break, you'd almost have to go low of day stop because things whip around so much. But look what happened. The break of the 5-minute high would have been 32.90-ish, somewhere around there. And it's up to 35 in about 10 or 15 minutes. So I was right. It was a very good idea. Execution, you had to, what's the term? You had to strap on a pair to try to take this thing because it was so, the spreads were so big. But anyway, the idea worked. It was a huge move in really 5 or 10 minutes, even though it definitely went without me. BHI, one of our members, Shady, one of our all-stars. I really got to get him to change that name. It's hard to trust somebody with their chat room name Shady. But anyway, he called BHI about 5 minutes in, basically on a break of the 5-minute high. After he said it, I looked at it and agreed with him because we've been watching this one. It's beaten up on the daily. In fact, I can show it. It's just straight down on the daily, and this one moves with oil, and then it based for a few days. So the gap up made sense, and oil was gapping up. So everything about it made sense. 44.26 was his entry idea. Stop at the low of the day, 15 cents below. And from there, it was pretty much straight up to 45. Ended up getting through 45 at its height. On 15 cents risk, that's a nice move. He also called OC. Probably looked about like this at the time. His long entry was 30.42. So right about here, worst case stop. 19 cents below, and then this doesn't look like a big move, but it got through the high of the day and ended up getting to 31.63. So over a $1.20 move in our favor on 20 cents risk. Again, it doesn't look like much because the big gap down kind of smushes everything together, but a great call there by Shady as well. B-Turk, one of our all-stars, called SQQQ, which was an inverse ETF for the Qs. Called it right around here on this little pullback after breaking the early high. 38.16. Stop's going to go below the whole number there, 37.99. And from that, again, doesn't look like much, but it went all the way up through 39 pretty quickly. And a great alert by B-Turk as well. I can show you some other things. WLL, for example. This is kind of like BHI. It's going to move with oil. Now, I didn't even have this one on watch. Beautiful bounce here off a moving average, but I didn't spot it until the volume woke me up right here. All of a sudden, it gets this big volume spike. You still have the early high of day to the left, which is always a catalyst. If you can get through the high of the day, start lighting up the new high sticker. So this might seem a little bit like chasing, and it sort of felt like that, but I called this one at 46.95, and my stop's just going to go below this high volume candle. Which was about 30 cents below. And it flagged for a little bit and then finally took off through the high of the day and ended up going up all the way to 47, whatever it was. So, I mean, not a bad move for a stock that felt like chasing, but it just goes to show watching for volume and knowing the sector and that sort of thing can still pay off. Again, this did not feel like a very professional entry, but the volume here caught my attention, and the entry was here and the stop was here. So, again, didn't feel very professional, but it still had a nice move from there without ever stopping out. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else by me. Oh, again, this wasn't a specific call, but I want to share this strategy with you. Red Hat, RHT, was getting what we call shape. Okay, you can kind of picture how the shape was changing on this one. It was getting to where, whoops, let me try a line instead. It was getting to where it was almost getting straight down. And on the daily at the same time, it was running down into the 200-day. That's a good combination when you get what we call intraday shape and then hitting the daily 200. You oftentimes get a really nice bounce. And Red Hat gave, good 60, 70 cent bounce here. that some of our members got in on. Now, I did not give a trigger and stop on that one specifically. I just basically typed in red hat shape into the 200 when it looked like this. And then, you know, like me with my ADHD, I got distracted and never did anything with it, but did have some members play that bounce as well. That is a fun strategy, by the way. Just write that down. Shape into the 200 on the daily. Oftentimes you get a nice bounce. You can use 5-minute candles, 2-minute candles for your entry, something like that. And I'll probably leave it at that. It was a good day. The afternoon was ridiculously slow because the SPY did what we call planking. After you got this move down in the SPY, it did this for 3.5, 4 hours, which isn't conducive to a lot of new entries, and closed pretty weak. So I did a lot of sitting on hands in the afternoon. We'll see if it holds this 144 area tomorrow. Should be some good setups though tonight. When I go to look at charts, we should have some really nice bounce play setups. So anyway, I'm not going to babble any further. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.